Thank you for joining me in Hoda's Career Info, the program where career professionals from across the globe meet to empower you to succeed. This program is brought to you by Right Career Fit. Feeling stuck or uncertain in your career path? Have that very important conversation with a career professional. Book your appointment with any of the career professionals interviewed on this program or with me, Hoda, at rightcareerfit.com.
I've owned my career through its several reinventions over the years, and I encourage my clients to do the same. It's not going to come to you, it's not going to get to you unless you go out and reach out. It all starts with asking yourself, what do you want to do? What are you good at? And what do you need to do to get there? That sensation of I'm lost and abandoned is what causes a lot of the quitting that we're seeing. In our research, we found that many companies provide new employee orientations and they call them onboarding. Onboarding entails getting those employees ready to be able to perform their roles at their best. It's not a one-day deal. We propose hybrid arrangements as much as possible. People still need that human touch.
Thank you again for joining me in Season 2 of Hoda's Career Info, your career program where career professionals from across the globe share career tips and personal stories to help you successfully navigate your career. I am Hoda, your host. I look forward to another season of career chats with international career professionals who will inspire you to take your journey to the next level. My guest today is Dr. Norma Dávila. Dr. Norma Dávila has more than 15 years of experience in handling changes across the life cycle and over 10 years in providing career management services. She is passionate about facilitating her clients' transformation into more self-confident professionals who have a deeper grasp of their strength and of the value they bring to organizations. Norma's authenticity and commitment to service, as well as the first-rate quality of her work, differentiate her in the career management services industry. Dr. Norma is fully bilingual, bicultural, and speaks the languages of many industries, as you will hear about her experiences, such as banking, technology, telecommunication, pharmaceuticals, among others. She has facilitated talent development, outplacement, and career management experiences for local, stateside, and international clients. In addition, Norma served in the Best Employers of Puerto Rico Selection Committee for Aon Puerto Rico for about 4 years. Else, Norma co-founded the Human Factor Consulting Group with Wanda Pina Ramirez in 2012 to provide human resources and talent management outsourcing services. She leads the career management practice specializing in addressing the unique needs of clients who are primarily in their mid-careers, exploring new fields, and in senior roles. And as if that is not enough, Norma also provides career coaching services for partners of relocated employees. Last but not least, Dr. Norma is a writer, contributing to blogs, consortiums, and magazines, as well as several books, including the book we will be talking about today, What Works in Talent Development: Effective Onboarding. Let's listen, and together, let's learn from Dr. Norma's multiple careers experience. Thank you, Dr. Norma Dávila, for joining me today on Hoda's Career Info.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Part of this program, Norma, is to share personal definitions of key career terms. As you know, mine is career literacy.
Yes.
And I usually challenge my guests to choose one term that reflects how they view their work and the services you offer. What is your word for today?
My word for today is career ownership. And it is that word because I've owned my career through its several reinventions over the years. And I encourage my clients to do the same. What do I mean by that? It's not going to come to you. It's not going to get to you unless you go out and reach out, either to people, for positions, for workplaces, wherever you want to be. The reason for that being my own experiences, which I think are important for my clients because I've reinvented my career several times. And now that I think of it, even when I was starting, I was reinventing my career because I started out as a college professor. That's what I thought I wanted to be when I finished my graduate degree. So I was all set for that. Then I got into program evaluation, which opened to me the world of federal funding and grants and doing things that had a greater impact than what I was achieving in the classroom. So after doing that, and there's a first reinvention, I wasn't quite into being back at the classroom when their funding ended. So gaining, or rather, after having gained significant experience in project management, I got certified as a project management professional. That was my first certification. That enabled me to get validation in sectors other than academia, because unfortunately, a lot of people think that college professors are not grounded on the real world. And if anything, I've been too practical all my life. Sometimes it backfires, but that's who Norma is. And having my PMP allowed me to enter into pharmaceuticals after a short, I would say, work experience working remotely when that concept didn't even exist. There was this company in Maryland that allowed me to work from Puerto Rico, and I would just travel at least 2 or 3 times a month, which was not a problem because with the grants I was administering before, I was used to doing that. And for me, it's been really important to keep part of me in Puerto Rico, but also stay connected to the States. That's critical. And I've managed to be able to do it all this time. So I got into the pharmaceuticals then and working on organizational development. I've been doing systemic education reform. I was changing systems, doing professional development, working with people in all kinds of roles. So that was the closest I could get to what I was doing that made sense outside of where I was working originally. That position led to banking. There goes, I've lost track of the reinventions by now, but there goes another one. And where I least expected to end up getting into career management work was at the bank. When some of the listeners may remember the assisted acquisitions by some banks of others during the financial crisis of a few years ago. The bank I was working for was one of the banks acquiring other banks. So after bringing in everybody from the acquired bank, the one I worked for decided it's time for us to start looking for who's going to stay and who's not. And there was a major outplacement program in place run by another company. I didn't have a clue what that was at the beginning. And someone at some point told me, "Why didn't you talk about resumes?" I looked really puzzled, just like I did right now. "Oh, you love to do research, you like reading, you're good at writing, you're going to be great." And it was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. But the challenge was going beyond the script. I had to make it my own, otherwise it wouldn't have worked. And it did. Even with the limited resources I had back then, I connected with the audience and I felt that I was doing a service to them, helping them see their careers, even in that short period of time, see their careers differently. After I left the bank and started doing consulting work in other areas, my business partner and I were senior consultants for Aon. We were contractors. And there goes the story again. Aon was doing a lot of outplacement work. I've just joined the company as a consultant, and somebody tells me, Norma, you're great at doing research. You're good at writing. Why don't you just do this outplacement presentation and you start working with us in this area? And I was like, okay, here we go again. How can I make this my own? Again, same result. Fortunately, I was able to establish a contact with the audience. A lot of the people there who were undergoing this very difficult experience connected with me. And that personal connection that's really important for me to be able to help people in their careers at whatever stage they are. But of course, I wasn't going to stay only following a script. I became certified as a professional resume writer and later as a professional career coach to round up my professional credentials and to get the knowledge and the experience that I wanted to get. And I've been doing that for doing resume writing and career coaching for about 10 years now. So that's my story of how I got to where I am. And the ownership part comes through because all the time I've been asking myself, so what do I want to do next? A lot of people thought that I was out of my mind when I left a tenured position at a university. A lot of people thought that I was out of my mind going out, starting a new business with a business partner, both of us in our 50s. I didn't care. I wanted to follow my own instincts, and my instincts were aligned with my own background as a developmental psychologist and what I could bring to people and what I wanted to do and find my way to make sure that I could tell my clients based on my own experiences, go take that course, do that professional development. What are you waiting for that certification? I've done it. So one step at a time.
Thank you, Dr. Norma, for blending your career term with your story. I love that how you showed us some examples of what does it mean to take charge of your career, or career ownership as the term that you would like to use. I also liked how you said, I had to make it my own.
Yes.
You shared your story because that was going to be the follow-up question
Oh,
to the career term. So that's perfect. So I'm going to just dig deep into that. And how would you recommend the audience, anyone listening or watching today, make it their own? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
sure. It all starts with asking yourself, what do you want to do? What are you good at? And what do you need to do to get there? These may seem simple questions, but they really require a lot of self-analysis and a lot of introspection, because I may want to go to fly to the moon, but I'm lousy at dealing with movement and gravity or lack of gravity or whatever. So I know I'm not going to be quite cut to be an astronaut, but maybe there's something else I can do. So it's really and I know I'm picking up a weird example, but what I'm saying is that sometimes clients come with unrealistic expectations of what they can do because they're following a trend or somebody told them that they would be good at something. And when they start looking at themselves and going through the process with me, they realize that their heart is in another place and they can be really good at something else. And that's the way they want to go. Maybe something they wanted to do all along and they just didn't get the chance, or they had personal or financial circumstances that did not allow them to pursue that dream. It's based on knowing yourself, knowing what you want to do, and figuring out what do I need to do to get there. And maybe a professional can help in that. Not everybody goes through that, but sometimes career coaches can help.
I believe it's part of what we do, absolutely, helping our clients get to know themselves and then be
Yes.
able to branch from there, right?
Yes. I love it when they go, I didn't realize that I had done so much. Or, wow, I didn't know that I had contributed so much to a business. It's a totally different experience from there on. And that's when they start owning who they are and owning their careers rather.
Absolutely agree. I'm going to take you on a different topic a little bit. You have co-authored several books, and I
Yes.
congratulate you on that. They're all very important topics.
Thank you.
Uh, the, the one I would like to pick on is the book titled Effective Onboarding.
Oh, yes. Book number 3.
And I want to pick on it because very few companies see value in having onboarding programs. And I would like
Yes.
to have a chat about it to bring it to the open, particularly now that we see many of our clients trying to think, what do I want to do next? We are seeing
Yes.
that, and people leaving jobs and taking on new jobs in the
Hmm.
market. And so, why should employers introduce an onboarding program? And again, according to your expertise, how important are they for employee engagement? How can an employer see value in that?
Absolutely. Let's get first into clarifying the difference between new employee rather, orientation and employee onboarding, which are two concepts that get mixed up a lot. In our research, we found that many companies provide new employee orientations and they call them onboarding. And they think that because they go through a checklist, throw out employees 100 documents, maybe have them see a video or two, maybe someone from senior management comes and says hello, that's the end of it. They're ready to do their jobs. Not quite. Onboarding entails getting those employees ready to be able to perform their roles at their best. It's not a one-day deal. It takes an investment, as you were saying, and it also takes preparing those people who are going to be involved in the process to actually facilitate it. I'll get concrete again. We're talking about different types of onboarding too. I should clarify that. It's the new employee, the one who just gets in shiny-eyed and starting happy because he or she got the job. And it's also the new to role employee who needs onboarding, the one who's been doing something for 3, 5 years, maybe more, and is shifting to another department or another role or doing something else. It's a new way of doing things, even in the same culture. That employee has the advantage that he or she knows the culture of the place better than somebody who just came off the street. And that in itself means that the programs have to be differentiated, but they're still going to have a lot of components in common, especially when it comes to getting from the general onboarding to the role specific onboarding. And that manager or supervisor has to play a critical role in mentoring, guiding, checking in on the employee, and providing those tools that the employee will need to be successful. Let's just get an example of something that happens. It actually happened to me at one point. I walk in very excited. I'm starting my job, my new job. My computer wasn't set up. Hmm. So what was I supposed to do? I started hesitantly mingling and trying to meet people because on top of everything else, my manager was out of town. So I was a little lost. Many employees in that situation decide this is not for me. Nobody cares about me. I'm not valued. All I'm going to be doing here is sitting in a cubicle doing who knows what, maybe for 3 days, if somebody decides to pay attention to me. Nobody reaches out, nobody takes them to lunch, nobody shows them where the key facilities are. If they're new to the area, where can they get cash, or where can they buy a burger, whatever they want, or take them somewhere. So that sensation of I'm lost and abandoned is what causes a lot of the quitting that we're seeing. And it ends up costing employers more than actually setting up an onboarding program that starts when the employee is selected and starts bringing in the culture and dealing with the paperwork, yes, but what's most important is the relationships and making sure that that employee feels welcome and starts integrating into the culture of the business. Then moving into the department, learning the unspoken rules, making sure that everything is set up. My first day would have been totally different if I had found my computer ready, my access is available, my manager or some designated person there to welcome me, to take me to lunch, to show me around the department, as opposed to what happened. I stayed, I did not quit still. Other people too. And now that we're shifting into this online onboarding mode because of the way we've been working over the last couple of years, my business partners and I argue mine arguments in those, not only in the book, but in other publications we've had about onboarding, is that we propose hybrid arrangements as much as possible. People still need that human touch. See people there, be available. Don't rely only on the click, click, click of online, which unfortunately happens for a lot of people. Make it personal. Have a meeting just like we are having now. Talk about different things. Find out interests. Find out what motivates those employees so that they feel that somebody's caring about them and is helping them to get ready to do their best in their new roles, whether they're new to the organization or new to the position, as I said earlier. And also, don't expect miracles overnight. Lay out those expectations clearly at the beginning, but give me a chance to learn what I'm supposed to be doing. Guide me along the way. Tell me what I'm doing right, just like you're going to tell me what I'm not doing right, and allow me to give you input, sorry, to make this better for whoever comes along later.
Very, very good examples, and I thank you for sharing them. Because I was thinking with online boarding, that was a little bit more tough on some of my clients who get new jobs and
Oh, yeah,
sometimes receive a laptop and just don't know where to start
exactly.
because they're expected to work online. So these are very good examples of how employers and companies can now support their clients online. And I like the hybrid idea as well.
Thank you.
I do believe in the value of the human touch as well.
Yes, it always helps to have somebody you can reach out to, that buddy who can tell you all the things that the manager is not going to say, and can walk you through all the internal dynamics of the place you just joined. And if it's hybrid, it's even better.
Yes, more and more we're seeing the value of mentorship on the job
Yes.
nowadays, and it's so important with the having someone more experienced guide the new people.
Yeah.
Like you said, whether they're new, first time, having work, or they've worked for many years, you still need that kind of mentorship, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And mentorship doesn't have to be age related one way only, because we usually think about the older employees helping the younger employees. And experience comes in all kinds, sizes and shapes and years and whatever we want to call them. So let's welcome that opportunity to learn from the younger employees, just like from the older.
Absolutely, and I always go to the younger people for IT support
Yes.
whenever I get stuck on something. So they know a lot more than I ever will. So definitely rely on the more experienced people, regardless of age. Dr. Norma, as a
Yes.
certified and experienced career development strategist, what do you mean when you say that you guide clients through targeted introspection? How do you help clients go through this process? We talked a little bit about getting to know yourself, but
Yes.
what does targeted introspection mean?
For me, targeted introspection means looking at yourself and looking at your career, but not a quick look. Getting into what you like, what you don't like, what has worked in the past, what has made you feel motivated to move forward, what haven't you liked in the past, what do you celebrate when you do something for you important, that is, because that tells you what matters in the workplace. Some people just tell me, oh, I just do my job, and tells me right there that they're not motivated to do the work. Also, we get into what would you like to do different? Where would you like to be doing it? Where do you see yourself? The famous question of where do you see yourself in the future, but more focused on in terms of what you want to do. It's not I want the next step in the career ladder or whatever. It's what do you want to do? Oh, I want to be dealing with groups. Oh, I want to be dealing with social impact. And then we have to start looking for different positions, because if you want to do work with that has a social impact, maybe it's outreach for a company, maybe it's community relations what you're interested in. And from those answers, we start weaving the narrative of where they've been and where they want to be. And on top of that, we look at the values and what aspects are negotiable or not negotiable for the career and for the personal lives, to put together what it is that they want to do now and what they're moving towards in the future. So it's really a lot of give and take. It's sending not 100 questions because nobody's going to fill them out, but some guiding prompts so that when we meet, we go through them as far as we can. If we got through 3, we got through 3. If we got 5, we got 5, however many, and maybe some more questions are going to come up. Usually my clients don't go through the whole guidelines that are prepared, but again, they're only a foundation for what we do in the first meeting. And it opens their eyes to what they've been doing, their achievements, what they're proud of, and what they want to bring to that next role or that next position. The story just comes out from our conversations. It is really the human connection what's at the heart of it.
I agree, because when we talk about it, it just sounds so simple. Like I can look back at my own skills and figure out what I did and how I can put it together. But there's really that questioning and that human connection that looks at things from a different perspective as well, that helps our
Yes,
clients move forward.
absolutely. And it's using sometimes my weird examples, like my astronaut that wasn't quite ready to fly to the moon, but those weird examples actually resonate with my clients. They help them get grounded.
Yes, and it's discussions that, such as these one, like I think of narrative coaching, it brings out all of that when we talk to clients. Absolutely.
Yes.
Um, Dr. Norma, I encourage my clients to always take on new challenges or projects that gets them out of their comfort zone. Uh, what do you have going for the next few months in your mind that you hope to accomplish?
Well, there are a couple of things going on. One of them is that I'm very happy because I've started to expand my practice stateside. I'm establishing partnerships with businesses that are dedicating to themselves to career management. So I've met a lot of people virtually. The pandemic allowed me, or rather facilitated, that I met people through the social media and through other organizations with whom I've begun to do projects that, again, take me to maintain those ties with the stateside audiences that I very much have managed to do somehow in all my roles since I started working, which are so important for me. So it's expanding that aspect of my business. And also, I'm beginning to look at career management programs that would bring together all the different features we've been talking about today. Because a lot of my clients come in because they think they need a resume or they think it's a glorified job description and then it becomes something else. So based on those experiences, I'm putting together something that maybe some people would would help some people make sense out of what all our field is about and what they could do in the short, medium, and long term. So we'll see how that comes out.
With your experience and research and having experienced several jobs, I'm looking forward to what will come out from that program. Congratulations on taking this step.
Thank you. Thank you.
These are all the questions I have for you today. Is there anything you would like to add to wrap up and share with the audience, with job seekers, perhaps who are reflecting on their jobs or looking for jobs right now?
Well, I'd like to encourage our listeners to take a deep look at themselves, look at their careers, and not necessarily rush out the door to make a change, but initiate that reflection and own their careers and see where they go with that. And like we've said before, reach out to career management professionals when they're ready and find one with whom they fit well, because this is like all relationships. You have to click with your client and your coach. Otherwise, it just doesn't work to get into the deeper analysis that has to happen to get all those results that we want. So that would be my last point and message to your audience, Dr. Hoda.
Thank you so much for being on Hoda's Career Info and for this great message.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You've been listening to Hoda's Career Info, the program where career professionals from across the globe join me to empower you to succeed. Thank you for joining me and Dr. Norma Dávila in this episode of Hoda's Career Info. I hope the career tips shared help you move forward with confidence. You can connect with Dr. Norma Dávila on LinkedIn. Please remember that you can listen to Hoda's Career Info since it's also dropped as a podcast. To let me know if you are interested in an opportunity to talk about your work, you can send me a direct message on my website, rightcareerfit.com, where you can also sign up for my newsletter to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and follow me on social media for more career info. I am your host, Hoda. Until next time, stay inspired and keep moving in productive ways.